I had looked at a Yelp review for a martial arts school that's in another state. It's not even in my market, but it's in the same style. And the customer is complaining about that particular school. The guy gave off so many red flags, it's not even funny. Now, I can definitely say that this instructor ultimately ended up being a bad instructor because he was arrested for having relations with an underage student. So we know he's bad. But if you look at the reviews, it says 2020 vision is hindsight. Excuse me, you're definitely going to see some huge red flags that you can look out for. So if we want to break them down into groups, we can say overly arrogant, narcissistic, made people feel like they were commodities, extremely rare interaction with the students. He was kicking out students because of disagreements with the parents, and he had a lot of hidden fees. So let's go over the main thing. The instructor gave off this attitude that, and this is all according to the reviews that were written. This was a guy who treated everybody like he was better than them. He was very condescending to them. And a lot of times he would just sit in his office and not even really talk to anyone while classes was going on. They also said that it was pretty clear that he showed blatant favoritism towards some of the students. Now, I think sometimes some people may, consciously or unconsciously, they may seem like they have a better rapport with students that have been there longer or higher ranked students. But it shouldn't be to the point where other people feel uncomfortable with how much favoritism you show towards one student or the other. You should make everybody feel like that they can get your attention if you're supposed to be teaching the class. And speaking of which, now this is something that I don't necessarily knock him for, but a couple of reviewers have said that he said he was going to be teaching the classes 90% of the time, but he really only taught 50% of the time, if that, and he had his instructors doing the teaching for him. Now, this was something I had to get used to myself as a student. Sometimes the head honcho cannot teach every class, and the head honcho also wants other people coming up to get teaching experience because that's part of the journey, especially in traditional martial arts school. You are supposed to be able to teach. You're not just there to take, you're supposed to give. So I don't have a problem with someone letting their assistants or their students that may have been promoted up to black belt or start up under them, let them come teach the class too. That's fine and that's normal. But if he said that he was going to be teaching the classes and he didn't, he just said that to get your money. He didn't tell you up front, I have assistants that come help me. I cannot teach every single class, or I will not teach every single class because we all have to learn how to give back. Then he's just saying that to get your money. So another thing is they didn't criticize the cleanliness of the facility, so it sounded like the facility was very well maintained. But they were saying there was just too many kids in there. They were cramped into a tight space. I guess he was the hottest item in town, and he was getting so much money that he was just taking kids in, and the kids didn't really have enough room to work out. So, if there's not enough room for you to do what you do, then you got to stop. Don't pack the classes. Now, this is where I get a little cynical because in a way, I kind of don't feel sorry for some of you people because if you walk past a class like I have a smaller class and a larger class right now. If you walk past my smaller class, this has literally been the first time. Well, it's the second time it's been this small. Of course, when it first started off, it was small. And that's just because a lot of people had bad luck in their personal life and they just can't come to class right now. That's the best way I could describe it without throwing people's business out there. Things happen, that's life. So you walk past and you only see like me training 5 people. Even if I tell you, from my experience, oh my gosh, you need to get in on it now. This is not going to last forever. That's like getting a private lesson from the guy or semi-private lessons for regular price. Take it. You don't want to do that. You want to follow the crowd. And it's your urge to follow the crowd that bad instructors are going to take advantage of. So he just packs them in. He's getting money for each head, and he doesn't care whether they learn or not. In addition to that, they said the technique was bad. Now, it sounds like he may have been teaching, I don't know if it was his own thing of Taekwondo, but whatever he was teaching was non-standard. So, and it didn't fall in line with other Taekwondo schools. Taekwondo is so fragmented, you may get that. You leave one Taekwondo school, you start over someplace else. If you go from school A to school B may bust you back down to white belt. That's fine. But that was something that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Maybe he didn't explain that to them well in the beginning. I tell my people, I'm doing my own thing. I have to use the name Taekwondo because they said, look, we like what you pitched to us. And this is the county talking to me. We like what you want to do, but you got to use regular names, man. You can't just come in here out of left field because I said, okay, fine. I use regular names. But you get what I'm saying. Just tell people the truth. If you're a maverick, be a maverick. If you're affiliated with National Org, be affiliated with National Org. If you're a mix of both, be a mix of both. But just tell people. You have to let people know that that's what you're offering them. So, and one of the main red flags that this guy was just a terrible instructor, besides the whole relations with the students thing, is several reviewers said that he would kick people out if he had a disagreement with the parents. So, for example, and this was more than one instance, you say you have a family, husband, wife, 2 children, both children in the class. He gets into an argument with the husband, so he kicks the kids out of class. Or even the husband has a disagreement with him about something that's not, it doesn't even sound like it was necessarily he was being accused of something. Boop. Kicked him out. Oh yeah, you don't worship me, you go. That's definitely a red flag. If you hear that happening, then you know you've rolled snake eyes in the game and you've got yourself a bad instructor. Another thing that came up on this site is that a child was asking questions. The instructor, first of all, he's barely teaching classes as it is. And then when he's there, the instructor does not want to answer the child's questions, so he pinches the child on the ear until the child's ear turns red to get the child to shut up. And says some kind of comment like, oh, the adults won. That's a bad teacher. You should want to ask questions. Now, if somebody's being disruptive, if they're asking too many questions or you need to move on, what I do is say, we can't take any more questions right now. Ask me after class. And you know what? If they're really curious, they'll either ask you after class or they'll go, you know what? I'll just wait till next week. What I do, get your parents to email me. And sometimes the parents email me. Now, it can be a little difficult because the parents email you. If they're not a martial artist themselves, they're like, he said something about, or she said something about, what did you call it? Chu-bi? No, Chanji. Oh, well, that's to be expected. But you're supposed to have good enough customer service skills. You're supposed to care enough about the people that you're teaching that you say, like, all right, you get joy helping people. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be in this stuff, not just for the money, because, you like people. Matter of fact, even if you don't like people, you're supposed to be in this stuff to serve the customer. So, and the last thing I'm going to say about this review, because I don't want this video to get too long. Now, an adult who gave a bad review on this club's Yelp page, she had said that they came in there and they made her sweat a lot. And for her, it was too much sweating, and she didn't like the fact that they sweat so much that she had to walk through other people's sweat. Now, sweating is not a bad thing in the martial arts. But this is where some people get into trouble. Some of you think that if you're not sweating, you're not learning anything. And I can tell you, you are not going to always sweat a lot in martial arts training during your whole journey. You are not going to always sweat all the time, because there's going to be times when you have to stop and you have to learn this skill and you have to focus on this skill, and you're going to have to focus on the coordination of it, and you're not going to be able to huff and puff it. Now, if you can't handle the fact that you have to stop and focus on something, then that's probably not the martial art for you. What you want to do is some type of cardio kickboxing, or just do something aerobic. Now, I say this to tell you that this is my opinion. I may be wrong. I think that some schools are distracting you by making you sweat a lot because they really don't have anything to teach you other than physical and just hit. Now, some people will say that about schools that do forms. They just teach you the forms because they don't want to really teach you anything. That is backwards. No. You can make, especially today's world, I can totally see how if you just make them do a bunch of push-ups, because people will brag, yeah, we had to do 300 push-ups today. You know, I took my black belt test and I had to run 20 miles and stuff. Like, dude, when somebody's trying to mug you, your ability to run 20 miles is not going to help you. What's going to help you is if you're psychologically prepared, even if you don't, roundhouse kick the mugger. You ain't see it. You don't roundhouse kick the mugger. Who cares? You may not want to roundhouse kick the mugger. You need to know enough psychology to go, do I need to roundhouse kick the mugger? Do I need to just get out of there? Has your training prepared you to just get out of there? So, I can't win this, I better go. That type of thing. That's what's going to get you over. But just because I can do 35 knuckle push-ups and then 100 sit-ups. And then chick. You need to learn how to deal with chick. Your 85 sit-ups aren't going to help you. But I always say this at the same time, mind you. If you're so unfit that you have a heart attack because you're startled, then you can't defend yourself. So my point is, the sweating and stuff has to be in balance. And you're not going to be sweating all the time. You're just not. You're not going to sweat at absolutely every single moment in a martial arts class. You're just not. If you are, then you're probably not really learning anything. Now, that being said, still, I know a lot of people will be like, I'm always tired after your class. What are you talking about? But if you stop and think, it's not 100% sweat all the time in class because I have to be able to teach you something. So, I would link to the bad club, but I'm not going to because that would be violating the martial arts ethics. And there could still be some decent people at that school after that instructor was arrested. But like I said, he's not in my state. He is in my style. So I'm not trying to throw a competitor under the bus. I'm not even trying to pull the race card because he was actually in my race. So you can't say that either. But my point is, you can look at some of those things that I talked about and the people said in the review. And it's all those things are definite red flags. I really wish that they had been enough to make people discount this guy before it went to the point of he got arrested for having relations with a student. So, if you want to take away, if they're a narcissist, don't train with them. Don't know what a narcissist is? Look it up. Peace.